Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, men's basketball wins in a nail-biter in an exhibition finale with Baylor in Indianapolis.
And women's basketball starts exhibition play with a victory at Assembly Hall. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Oliver Carr.
And I'm Lauren Wainwright. Oliver, it's finally basketball season. How excited are you for Indiana basketball?
You know, as excited as I am about basketball, this is about the time we tend to sort of shift our focus towards basketball. I'm in a football mood, folks, and for the second time this season, Indiana football beat a conference opponent by 50 points or more as the Hoosiers took down UCLA 56-6. Let's check out the highlights from a packed Memorial Stadium. They were super excited to see their 7-0, number 2 ranked Indiana Hoosiers play in Bloomington. The defense got us kicked off with a bang as Nico Iamaleava is picked off. Aiden Fisher, nothing but green grass ahead of him, in for 6. The All-American would have to leave the game with an injury, but is probable to return against UCLA. The offense would not be unanswered as Fernando Mendoza, all kinds of time, steps up and fires. E.J. Williams Jr. down inside the 5. Running back Roman Hemby would very quickly capitalize just a couple of plays later to put the Hoosiers up 14-0 late in the first quarter. Early in the second, it's them at it again. Elijah Surratt from Fernando Mendoza. Surratt had a bit of a quiet game in this one, but did get in the end zone for 6. Nico hands off. Jalen Berger is stripped by Isaiah Bones Jones. The defense all over the Bruins in this one. That set up the Hoosiers one more time. It's Roman Hemby at it again as he cavorts his way into the end zone for 6. That put up the Hoosiers 28-0. Fernando Mendoza, a lot of speculation about the Heisman race. How about a Heisman moment as he takes off and scores? Easy touchdown for Fernando there. That put up the Hoosiers 35-3. Fernando, he does it with his legs, folks, and he does it with his arm too as he scrambles and fires to a wide open E.J. Williams Jr. This time he would not be caught. This time he scores to put the Hoosiers up 42-3. That would end Fernando Mendoza's day as his little brother Alberto takes over and does the same thing his brother did. He just didn't score, made a couple tacklers miss down inside the 5. That got his older brother Fernando all kinds of hyped up. The Hoosiers would roll, finishing the game 56-6. And Indiana will be on the road this weekend out in College Park as they take on the Maryland Terrapins.
Indiana men's basketball played its final exhibition matchup ahead of the regular season this past weekend. Our Ian Plaskoff has more.
On Sunday, Indiana men's basketball made the short trip up to Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis and earned a 76-74 exhibition win over Baylor. The Hoosiers struggled down low early, getting out-rebounded by Baylor 19-11 in the first half while giving up 8 second-chance points. As the Bears' lead grew, Indiana head coach Darren DeVries made sure his team didn't spiral out of control.
I thought a huge part of the game today was we're down 13 with about 7 minutes to go in the first half, and the game can go a lot of different ways right before halftime. I challenge the guys in a timeout of don't let this get to 20. You know, this can't be what we just do all the time. So
Indiana forced a combined 10 steals and blocks in the second half to spark its offense on the other end of the floor. Lamar Wilkerson and Tayton Conaway combined for 25 second-half points to lead the charge. Indiana also held Baylor to 29% shooting in the second half and made 20 of 21 free throws on the game, with big ones down the stretch. The gritty second-half performance was just enough to squeak out a win. Practice can only do so much for two teams that return no points, rebounds, assists, or turnovers from last season. An exhibition like this is the perfect opportunity for coaches to see what they really have against quality opponents.
This is awesome for us. You know, I would do these games all the time. I think that's it's great to either be at home or road, have some atmosphere, be in front of fans, and watch how guys respond to different type of situations. So, for us, there was every scenario that could happen today was going to be a good thing for us because it's something that we could learn from.
Indiana opens up regular season play on November 5th at home against Alabama A&M. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Ian Plaskoff.
Injuries are still playing a role in the Indiana's lineups and rotations. The Hoosiers will hope to get healthier over the next week as the regular season awaits.
A back-and-forth battle between two of the Big Ten's best as number 4 Maryland handed number 14 Indiana a 3-2 loss on Friday night. The Terps struck first in the 14th minute. Lusta Costabile's low shot slipped through the hands of IU keeper Judwell and Michelle to make it 1-0. Then in the 58th minute, Stefan GK slipped a perfect ball to Saddam Mazareka, who rounded the goalkeeper and finished to double the lead. Indiana answered in the 64th. Charlie Hoyer found space from distance and blasted a strike from 25 yards out to cut it to 2-1. The Hoosiers nearly equalized 4 minutes later when Nolan Kinsella's shot rattled off the post, but Maryland responded in the 75th minute. GK this time the scorer, chipping over the keeper to restore a 2-goal cushion. Senior Palmer Alt kept IU alive in the 81st, netting his NCAA leading 15th goal of the season, but the Hoosiers just ran out of time. Final score, Maryland 3, Indiana 2. The loss ends IU's chances at a regular season Big Ten title.
Indiana volleyball suffered their first home defeat on Friday versus Minnesota, losing 1-3. This was the first time an opposing team hit over 400 on IU's home court since 2021. Despite the loss, freshman setter Teodora Krichkovic had over 40 assists, and Jessica Smith had the best night of her indoor career with 13 digs. The Hoosiers bounced back on Sunday against Northwestern as the Hoosiers were able to sweep the Wildcats. Senior outside hitter Candela Alonso Corcelis had an outstanding game, contributing 16 kills and 1 ace. Indiana's win over Northwestern puts them at the best Big Ten start in program history. Head coach Steve Aird talked about the bounce back from last Friday.
We had a really tough practice yesterday. For me, it's going to come back to grit and how hard we work and how much we want to be real. And so it was a little bit more intense than usual, but I thought it translated. And I thought their energy today was great, and they worked really hard. And we had, big-time players make big-time plays when we needed them.
Next up for the Hoosiers, they will travel to Maryland on Halloween to face off against the Terrapins. Then they will be in Pennsylvania on Sunday playing against the Nittany Lions.
Indiana field hockey took on Ohio State and Michigan State in a pair of Big Ten matchups this past weekend. On Friday, the Hoosiers went up against Ohio State and scored the first goal of the game in the 18th minute from freshman forward Thiela Arroyo Cabezudo. Shortly after, Ohio State's graduate forward McKenna Webster got the Buckeyes' first goal in the 21st minute to tie the game up. In overtime, sophomore forward Mincha Howen scored off of a penalty corner to give the Hoosiers a 2-1 win. On Sunday, Indiana welcomed Michigan State Spartans for their senior day. Indiana took the first goal yet again from freshman forward Molly Studdy in the 16th minute, and Michigan State countered with a goal in the 17th minute from sophomore back Bakero Schaefer. The Hoosiers would go on to score 5 more goals, 2 of them coming from Cabezudo, with 1 off of a penalty stroke to win the game 6-1. With 2 dominant Big Ten wins, Indiana's record now stands at 9-7, heading into Ann Arbor for their last regular season game against the Michigan Wolverines.
Coming up after the break, we crown this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And women's basketball breaks 100 against Missouri S&T. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
Joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight is IUSTV sports reporter Rob Frangione.
Thanks, Lauren. Indiana women's volleyball is off to their best start in Big Ten play in program history, largely thanks to the emerging superstar freshman setter and this week's Hoosier Highlight athlete, Teodora Krichkovic. This past Sunday, she helped the team to a dominant 3-0 sweep over Northwestern, where she provided 37 assists, 11 digs, and 1 block. Those 37 assists pushed Krichkovic to the top of the record boards as she broke the freshman single-season assist record at Indiana with 755 on the year. Krejcikovic guided the team to a hitting percentage of .361, making this the 5th time the Hoosiers have eclipsed this mark since 2008. Looking ahead, the team will travel to College Park, Maryland on Friday to take on a Terrapins team that is desperate to pick up a win. I'm Rob Frangione, and this has been your Hoosier Highlight. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Rob. Indiana women's basketball kicked off its season this past Monday in an exhibition matchup against Missouri S&T. Our Jet Garrett has the recap.
Basketball is officially back in Assembly Hall, and the Hoosiers are off to a hot start.
Indiana women's basketball kicked their season off in exhibition play against Missouri S&T in dominant fashion.
The Hoosiers played fast and aggressive on both sides of the ball, turning high-powered defense into fast-paced offense.
We're the aggressors. We're the one to make the first punch, and you're going to see that game by game. A game plan today was to literally be aggressive. It was written on our board, and that's exactly what we did, and that's not really going to change.
Indiana collected 10 steals and forced 27 turnovers, a number higher than any total from all of last season.
My biggest message was I wanted them to be aggressive defensively without fouling. We didn't do a great job of that. If there was one area that we're going to have to really clean up is we can't foul as much as we did.
The Hoosiers translated aggressive defense into a high-paced offense, especially from beyond the arc.
Coach, as of right now, has given a lot of us the green light, which always helps build confidence into our shooters. But I also think that's a chemistry thing. We're constantly encouraging other people, whether it's Maya, Phoenix, whoever it may be. They missed the first one. We're telling them, someone's telling them that's the shot we want. We're going to live with that shot, so keep letting it go.
Indiana will kick off the regular season Tuesday, November 4th, as it hosts the Lipscomb Bison from Assembly Hall.
For IUSTV Sports, I've been Jet Garrett.
You can follow along with our reporters on Tuesday night for the Hoosiers' season opener against Lipscomb.
If you thought 15 goals in 3 games last weekend was crazy, what would you think if I told you the Hoosiers scored 12 goals in just a single game? Indiana faced the Louisville Cardinals at Frank Southern this past Friday, and they started out red hot, scoring a goal less than 3 minutes into the game, courtesy of sophomore forward Garrett Bauermeister. Fast forward to halfway through the first period, Ian Burke scores his first goal of what would eventually become a hat trick on a shot near the net. Less than 3 minutes later, he would score a second goal, which makes the score already 3-0 Hoosiers, and they're just getting warmed up. IU would score 4 more goals in the second period, including a goal from graduate forward Andrew Chambers, who has been having a stellar season so far, and would also rack up a hat trick of his own. That's right, folks, not 1, but 2 hat tricks for the Hoosiers this game. Making quick work of the Cardinals, they would score another 4 goals in the final period, ultimately leading to a 12-0 shutout. Indiana then traveled to Louisville the following day, where they would win by a score of 6-1.
This past Sunday, the Indiana women's soccer team finished off their season against the number 15th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes at Bill Armstrong Stadium. Our Drew Furch has the recap.
The Hoosiers' undefeated streak comes to an end at Bill Armstrong Stadium as they fall to the 15th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes and conclude their first season under head coach Josh Reif.
That they're good. I think that they continue to make things difficult. So again, true to fashion they've done all year, right? I think they kind of find ways to win. They get a set-piece goal, which I know is something that they really rely on.
Despite not making the tournament, this season was a testament to redefining the program and creating a new culture of Indiana women's soccer.
I get as old as Coach Yates, the godfather, right? And be able to look back at a lot of years, a lot of history, but this one will always stand out as special. I think the first win here at Armstrong, being back, I try to explain, I don't want to be that guy with the players all the time.
A group of players coming together to lead the charge for this program, creating a new narrative for themselves.
The senior group has really led that charge, that they came into the year saying, we want this to be a different year than last year, and I think every measurable statistic, they've done that. I mean, to be playing for something in the last game.
And that was full of growth and challenges. Indiana remains determined to get back to where they've been, and Coach Rife believes that this season was the right step to get there.
Talent, right, that helps bolster this, and then you got to continue to develop and invest in the players that we have here, right? And so, we'll go back and look and say, how can we just get a little bit better? How do we get a little bit better? And we said this, early on the season and even at the very end.
Here at Bill Armstrong Stadium, where the Hoosiers fall to the Iowa Hawkeyes 2-0. But despite the loss, the Hoosiers season was nothing far of resilience. I'm Drew Furch with IUSTV Sports.
The Hoosiers finished up their first year under head coach Josh Rife with a 5-6-6 record, just missing out on the Big Ten tournament by 3 points.
The Indiana women's golf team competed in their final fall tournament, the Landfall Tradition in Wilmington, this past weekend, where they took 8th place. The Hoosiers got a strong performance from multiple players. Maddie May finished tied for 29th and eagled hole 12 in round 2. Sheridan Clancy finished with a share for 25th, shooting 3 over for the tournament. Madison DeBaggia continues playing amazing golf as she finished tied for 6th in the individuals with a score of 4 under, one of just 12 golfers who shot under par for the tournament. The Hoosiers resumed their season February 2nd in Boca Raton, Florida, playing at the FAU Paradise Invitational. Joining us now in studio with the Candy Stripe calendar report is IUSTV sports reporter Kelsey Middleton. Kelsey?
Thanks, Lauren. Bundle up, Hoosier fans. The air is getting crisp, which means that IU's fall athletes are in full swing. Speaking of swinging, the 24th ranked volleyball team travels to Maryland for a spooky 7 p.m. matchup on Friday. Meanwhile, the 14th ranked men's soccer team heads up northwest to take on, you guessed it, Northwestern. And if you're still recovering from the Halloween festivities on Friday, no worries, because the Hoosier football team is also traveling to Maryland to take on the Terrapins at 3:30 on CBS. And all I have to say about this is that my 6-day-old niece has never seen the Hoosiers lose a football game. Look at that cutie. But we're not done yet. On Sunday, the women's volleyball team heads on the road yet again, but this time to face the 19th ranked Nittany Lions of Penn State. Have a safe weekend, Hoosiers, and for IUSTV Sports, I'm Kelsey Middleton.
And that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports to keep up with all the latest in IU athletics. For our production group behind us, I'm Oliver Carr.
And I'm Lauren Wainwright. We'll see you next week.